eventing and fighting once again for the heavyweight title. How much of a role does all of that experience play into a fight of this magnitude?
I mean, obviously, you know, familiarity increases comfort and it allows you to become more accustomed to something. And so, you know, the fact, the media and the exposure and all the things pretty much outside the octagon, I think having the experience gives me an advantage. But obviously, once they shut the cage door, then it's all the same.
All right, well, as soon as Alistair Overeem was forced out of this fight, the campaign to get the title shot got underway in earnest for you. Certainly, you were the most deserving. The UFC felt that way, but you were definitely training for a different type of opponent in Cain Velasquez. Why were you so confident to step up, not just with the title on the line, but take on a decidedly different challenge here in Junior Dos Santos on short notice?
Well, I felt that obviously Dos Santos would be having to go through the same changes that I had to as far as a change in opponent. I felt that preparing for Cain Velasquez, I was preparing for a very tough opponent with great cardio, so I was already kind of gearing towards the 5 rounds. Plus, when we started the camp, I told my trainer, because we were facing Cain, and also because of the opportunity that someone could get hurt in training, I wanted to be prepared to step up. And so those gave me reason to be confident. As far as a different opponent, you know, obviously Dos Santos is the best boxer in the division, but Velasquez is a very good boxer also, so it wasn't like I was not boxing and not working on that aspect of my game. And also I realized too, I mean, the hardest thing I think to switch would be the right to left-handed. My opponent is still right-handed, fights left foot forward, whereas Dos Santos had to make that adjustment where I didn't. Where now he was facing a right-handed kickboxer, now he's facing a left-handed, you know, mixed martial artist.
Well, we set up your credentials, your UFC success certainly well documented. Some would argue that Frank's already had a Hall of Fame worthy career. Others would disagree with that statement. Do you think you get the credit you deserve as one of the best heavyweights of all time?
I think that a lot of the general fans know, and I mean my statistics stand alone on what I've accomplished inside the octagon and on how I've accomplished time as an MMA fighter in the UFC. I think the problem is that there's always a select few group in everything in life that you know, they speak from emotion. They're not intelligent. They don't look at statistics. They don't look at, you know, track records. They don't watch videos and form opinions. They form opinions with their emotions. And the problem is most of us who are intelligent people who are laid back, we're not very loud when we think something. We don't get screaming, we don't get passionate, we don't get angry. It seems like it's the few stupid people that are extremely passionate about what they have to talk about. So in all things in life, whether politics or, you know, sports, it's always those few guys or individuals that are just very loud and angry that seem to speak the loudest. But just because you're the loudest doesn't mean you're the majority.
All right, on UFC Primetime, Minotauro Nogueira, the Brazilian legend who you have knocked out and submitted, had this to say, and I quote, "I don't know why everybody worships this guy. His ground game is simple. It's only his attacks that are a little dangerous." Your thoughts?
I'm thinking something got lost in translation. Because it'd be like, you know, I gotta tell you, if I'm rolling on the ground with somebody and they break my arm, they submit me. If you interview me about him, I'm gonna say, man, that guy is really good. He was awesome. And it's not a humility thing so much as it's just like, so wait a minute, you say the guy sucks and he's simple, but he broke your arm. The guys that I face to be the best. I don't beat people because they're not very good. I didn't knock out Mirko Prokop because he's not good at stand-up. The guy is phenomenal at stand-up. You know, I didn't beat Roy Nelson because he's no good. Roy Nelson's an extraordinarily tough guy. Everybody I face is the best in the world. They're tough. They're hard to beat. I beat them because I was a little bit better. That's the way I look at it. I always laugh when guys sit there and they break people down and go, this guy sucks. I'm like, that's why you're going to win? Because he sucks? Not because you're good? Different mentality.
All right, thank you. All right, we get to Junior Dos Santos. Now, you went into last November's title fight against Cain Velasquez with a torn meniscus in your knee. You refused to withdraw from the fight, and you go on to become the UFC heavyweight champion. Are you still sort of basking in the glow and living out your dream?
Yeah. When I had my injury, my knee injury, you know, that was a problem for me in that fight. But I asked for my physical therapist, hey man, I need to be ready for this fight. Make me ready for this fight, you know. And I brought him with me to the fight, you know, and I was feeling good, and that was perfect for me, you know, a good result, and yeah, that's it.
Is it true that you went to sleep with the belt the night you won the UFC heavyweight title?
Yeah, it's true.
It was just you and the belt in the belt, huh? Just you and the belt in the belt.
Just me and the belt. That was a special moment for me. Because I just wonder when my dream become true in that day. So I sleep with my belt.
All right, we like it. All right, well.
How did you get your wife to be okay with that? My wife was against it. I walked out, I was excited. I'm like,
she was not here, so it's okay.
Yeah, all right. Well, you have said, Junior, you want to be remembered not only as a UFC champion, but as a great UFC champion. I'd imagine title defenses are a big part of that. In your estimation, what constitutes a great UFC champion?
Of course, I want to be, I want to keep this belt for a long time now. That's why I work hard every day, And I think my first title defense now against Frank Mir is going to prove that. I did an excellent camp in Brazil, and I'm very well prepared for this fight. And I want to be different, I want to be part of the history of the heavyweight division.
You haven't shown us a lot of weaknesses to this point. Some people say perhaps you rely a little too much on your boxing, but I guess if you win the world title in 64 seconds with plan A, do you really need to have a backup plan?
Actually I have plan B, plan C, but my plan A is working, so I will keep doing that.
But you're confident, I assume, that you can mount an offense in other disciplines of mixed martial arts if you need to at any given time in a fight?
Yeah, for sure. I'm a MMA fighter, and I'm really confident in all areas. If the fight goes to the ground, I will be fighting on the ground. I'm not afraid of any situation to fight, and I just keep the fight standing because I'm very confident in that area,
During the first episode of UFC Primetime, you said that Mir is, quote, not a man, he gives up. Now, you're always an honest guy. We appreciate the candor. Why did you choose to go public with that opinion?
I choose what I said was, when I say he's not a man, I confirm that. I said that because when he's leaving a bad situation in the fight, he can't recover from that situations. In Brazil, when you doesn't have a heart to recover from that situation, we say that, he's not a man, But I have nothing personally against him. I even know him personally, don't know him personally. So that was more about the fight.
Frank Jr. has acknowledged that you are a great UFC fighter when things are going well, but he said maybe you wilt when the going gets tough. He's sitting in front of you here about 48 hours out from the fight. Any response to Jr. and that line of thinking?
I think, first of all, Junior's a great fighter inside the octagon, and I think that what he was trying to do is increase his abilities to be known outside. I mean, let's face it, people like Brock Lesnar and stuff, they're kind of known for what they say outside the octagon sells more tickets sometimes. And so I think that his camp and people around him are trying to get him to sell the fight. Let's face it, there's not a lot more he can do to improve inside the octagon. But as far as marketability outside the octagon, our media is notorious for reporting things that are hot topics. And if he says something a little spicy, I guess, that it gets more attention. I mean, think about it, of all the things that he said, that's probably been asked of you how many times now? I mean, multiple times it's been brought up. So it increases media. I didn't take it too personally because I know Dos Santos. I know what kind of person he is. I can see him. I mean, you don't train to fight somebody and not know them as well as we know each other. And I have too much footage of me proving the otherwise. In the Nogueira fight, I didn't start off too hot, guys. I don't know if you failed to notice, but I wasn't faking that one. He caught me and I came out and was able to be victorious. In the first Brock fight, I don't think I was winning on the scorecards up to the point I submitted him, guys. I got to be honest with you. I think that his hands were getting sore on my face, but I don't know if I was going to win that transition. I was working on it. But I still pulled it off. And even in the second fight with Brock, you see that that first round, I looked pretty ugly when I got up. It was hurting, and I woke up, I got up smiling, and was grinning, actually. And then I ran at him trying to knock him out. I even jumped in the air trying to get a knockout. And, superior size and strength and wrestling ability proved to be against me, not lack of fighting ability. But we do a pre-fight medical backstage before, so I'm thinking me and Junior will do it together. So when they're doing the hernia thing, we'll prove that I'm a man. Just glance over.
Junior, Frank has said that while retaining your belt is your main motivation, you are also seeking revenge because of what he did to Big Nog. How satisfying would it be for you to not only beat Mir, but to do so for Big Nog and everybody back in Brazil?
Yeah, well, it's for sure it's not a revenge for me, you know. My satisfaction comes from to defend my belt, you know, and to keep living the good things that I'm living now, you know, keep giving a better life for my family and keep getting those opportunities in my life, you know. It's not a revenge for sure, it's an amazing sport, you know, and that happens. We never know what's going to happen in the fight, you know. And that time Nogueira did a mistake and he was able to capitalize that moment, you know. And my objective in this fight is to put him in the bad moments and don't let him recover from that moment.
All right, final question before we get to the media, and we do appreciate your patience. On UFC Primetime, the second episode, we were introduced to a 9-year-old boy in Brazil, and all he wanted was to be here to see your first title defense against Frank Mir, and lo and behold, sitting here in the first row, you made it happen.
Oh yeah, Breno is right there. Yeah, he's a very funny kid, and he would love to be here watching one of my fights, you know, and then we made that happen. Yeah, he's funny.
Frank, you talked yesterday and again today about already being in good conditioning. You talked about training to fight Cain Velasquez. You felt that would kind of be like the equivalent of a 5-round fight given his cardio. Now that you're in an actual 5-round fight, you may be physically prepared for that, but if you look at the statistics between you and Junior, a lot of your mutual success comes early. Submission attempts, knockouts. So is there also a component of your mindset and your camp that has you thinking you also need to be training for a 1-round fight?
No, absolutely. I mean, I think the difference is that, you know, like when I fought Nogueira, you can't sit there and go, okay, there's 3 rounds and cruise the first round and warm up like boxing. No, these are championship boxing matches. Guys have 12 rounds and you take the first round. Dos Santos, all his knockouts are in the first round. I don't think, have you knocked anybody out after the first round?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so all my submissions come in the first round too. So I realized that both of us are most dangerous in the first round. But I think because Junior's boxing, his power is not so much from his size. I mean, he's not a small individual by any means, but it's his speed, how fast he can throw his hands. And like all people, as a fight wears on, it's impossible to be just as fast as you were that first 2 minutes. Speed slows down. That's why he knocks people out in the first round. He has incredible speed that's overwhelming, and I don't think people have time to adjust for it. So I know that the first round is actually more important than any other round in this fight.
Frank, in the intro by John, he mentioned about a victory for you would mean equaling Randy Couture and Muhammad Ali as the only 3-time heavyweight champions. And also, you and I have talked about how you need that 3rd belt for your 3rd kid because you don't want any conflicts at home. And how much of that goes into affecting your preparation, or are you thinking, visualizing the fight about what you could accomplish besides winning the title again?
No, honestly, you know, I guess it would sound better if I said I was really focused on those things, but I'm not. Those have to be the results of proper preparation. Really, honestly, I'm focused at the task at hand. The opening bell, the first exchange, and then once that's over with, it's the next exchange, the next movement, and fight after fight. At the end of the fight, when the bell's rung, that's when I get maybe time to think of some of the things about moving up. But as far as do I sit at night and go, okay, this fight means this? No, I think that's, you know, as a fighter, we'd be lying if we're not already saying we're nervous. A little scared, go out there. Who's not? I'm walking in front of a cage by 20,000 people against one of the best fighters in the world. I have never walked into a fight and not been nervous or full of anxiety. So to think of those things would probably only add to it. And then it would be a good thing.
Cool, though, to be next to Muhammad Ali and Randy Couture, though, right?
Yeah, you know, Muhammad Ali is somebody you know, I've admired my whole life. I think he's somebody who's you know, that a lot of people can take a lot from and enrich their life by learning lessons that you know, that he's done.
Celebration that looked like something out of Carnival, and I'd like to know, is it really something that you're enjoying? Just as we see those images, you're enjoying your reign as the champion and being able to enjoy all of those moments. Answer. Yes, it's pretty much what you saw in those images. I'm living a very good moment, and it's wonderful to have all of those celebrations and people around me celebrating my victory with me and celebrating my reign as the champion.
Thank you.
This is Marcus Score with Studio MMA News. And first question for Junior Dos Santos. For your last fight, you had some problems with your knee. Is the knee completely healed up? Did you have surgery on it too?
Yeah, I forgot about the knee, so it's 100%.
And to both of you, some people feel that 10 out of 10 fights standing up, Junior Dos Santos will win. 10 out of 10 fights, Frank Mir will win on the ground. To both of you, what do you think of that?
No absolutes in life. No, I think saying that, again, that's an intelligent observation if you say that off of track record, he has more knockouts than I do. I only have one, you know, and then to say that I have more submissions, Junior doesn't have any submissions of yet. Obviously, I'm better in that area than he is. So, I mean, it's one of those things, it's kind of, I guess, no shit.
Yeah, what I have to say. I think, you know, Frank Mir is a submission artist, you know, I have to respect that for sure, and I will, you know, but I'm very confident with my hands, and I really believe I can knock him out. I have to keep my, you know, it's very important for me to be confident with myself, you know, when I believe in something, I can make that happen. So I really believe I can knock him out. So I will try to do that, you know, I don't care, like, if I'm, if he's better on the ground and I'm better in the standing, it's MMA, you never know, you know, you never know what's gonna happen. But my objective is to win this fight by knockout.
I think that's Portuguese for no shit too.
Gary Alexander with Fighters Only Magazine. I have a question for Junior as well as Frank. How difficult is it for each of you to actually find opponents or sparring partners that mimic your opponent?
Well, in Brazil we have a lot of good Jiu-jitsu guys, so that was not too hard for me to find some guys like him, you know. And I used to train with good southpaw guys too, you know. So I did a really good camp in Brazil, and I think it's the best camp I ever did, and I'm feeling very well prepared.
I think it's kind of funny because he has to prepare for a jiu-jitsu guy. He's training in Brazil. I don't think it was that hard to find jiu-jitsu guys. And you know what? I don't know if this is common knowledge, but in America, we're pretty good at boxing. There's a lot of good boxers around, you believe it or not. I mean, I think we have more world champions in boxing than Brazil does. Yeah, we do. Amazing.
Hi, I'm Padut, Energy Sport Israel. Question for both of you. We usually see a lot of physical preparation in the countdowns and primetime shows. If you can talk a little bit about the mental preparation. Is there a special technique that you guys use? You meditate, visualizing stuff, guided visualization. Is there anything that you do? I'm sure you do it. I was wondering what.
Well, my mental preparation is like I said, I try to be confident with myself, you know, to be very positive with how's gonna be the fight for me, you know. I wanna bring him to my strategy, you know, and try to capitalize good moments in the fight, you know. So and I have my coach Doria. He's my coach, but when he starts to talk with me and to say how's gonna be the fight for me, well, I feel very good. You know, I feel, wow, I'm gonna destroy this guy. So it's good to get him on my side.
I have 3 kids and a stepchild, and I have a very strong-willed, to put it politely, wife. So I'm kind of always mentally prepared. I'm always knowing how to deal with chaos and relax, and I go to the little cave with the penguin and chill out all the time.
Heidi Fang with MMA Fight Corner. The first question is for Frank. Do you feel at all that your striking is being underestimated going into this fight?
A little bit, but I mean, that's from media, and I realize too that everybody just looks at your last performance. Nogueira caught me with a really good right hand. I got hurt and, you know, I was able to come off of that, but now it's like all of a sudden, like, the fact that I knocked Chet Congo down, that I beat Anthony Hardlock, who's a K1 fighter, the fact that I went almost a full 3 rounds with Mirko Prokop and went to the ground 0 times and was winning all the scorecards before I knocked him out. all that seemed to went out the window again. And everybody just, again, people speak from emotion. They just say, oh, and they have an image and they make an opinion out of it. No, I mean, obviously, compared to the credentials of what Junior's done, you know, is he the better boxer? How can I argue otherwise? You know, I have one knockout and then TKOs on the ground. Well, I guess, I don't know if Nogueira was considered a knockout or TKO, so 2 knockouts. He has, I think, 5. So how could you say that, he obviously more proficient there. Just like when his jiu-jitsu coach said that he was better at jiu-jitsu, it's like, well, he may well be. But to make that claim is very hard because I have, I think, 8 submissions now in the UFC. Dos Santos has none. And so when people make things up, I just always just look at stats. I read things. I mean, when I prepare for a fight, I have to prepare logically. How many times did he throw a jab in the first minute? How many times did he do this? What did he do here? And so because I have to look at it because my face is on the line, I have to approach it from a very scientific point of view. I guess when people make outlandish statements or, oh, this sucks, I'm like, really? I'm the 3rd highest, percentage of striking of any of the heavyweights that have ever fought in the UFC. It's me. That means that there's a lot of guys that suck real bad if they're all behind me.
All right, one final question from the media, please.
Frank, I wanted to ask you, you have been considered as the best jiu-jitsu fighter on the heavyweight division. You are being not a Brazilian. Who has had more influence on your jiu-jitsu so you have come to this level?
Honestly, I mean, as far as influence, I mean, obviously I've had great coaches. Ricardo Perez and Sergio Pena, who I think is very famous in Brazil, was who gave me my black belt. I trained now with Robert Drysdale, who's a Mundial and an Abu Dhabi champion. Ricky Lindell is also somebody I traveled with grappling. But as far as inspirational figures that I look at and I watch, Nogueira is actually somebody that I studied. When I watched him fight Heath Herring, I think in 2001 when they fought for the first Pride belt, I wanted to be like Nogueira. I'm like, look, here's a heavyweight that can fight off his back and do submissions and movements. Somebody I watch now still to this day is Fabricio Verdum. Very long, tall heavyweight that is able to do stuff off his back. Who I think, it's funny when people ask me if I'm the best jiu-jitsu guy in MMA, I don't agree with them. I think Verdum is much better than I am in jiu-jitsu. If we were to have a match together, I hope to make it kickboxing.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. We're going to get to your questions on Twitter now due to time constraints. We will only get to 2 of them. The hashtag is UFC Presser. First for Frank Mir from ESPN UK's Ben Blackmore. Frank, should the Brits be in your corner due to your close association with Dan Hardy?
I don't know. I assume so. I mean, Dan Hardy's a great guy. I think he's somebody that's really helped push me in this training camp a lot. I think I make no bones about the fact that I hate to run. I used to tell people I'd rather get beaten down by dudes with baseball bats than hit the road. And in this fight, I've ran a lot. And due to the fact that Dan comes from a group of guys that train very hard over there, and he brings that work ethic here. He's very disciplined. There was never one time that I drove out to go run that he wasn't already there waiting for me, regardless of the fact I wish he wasn't sometimes.
All right, and this one for JDS from Scott Sowitz from Fox. He wants to know if you've thought about boxing for Brazil in the 2016 Olympic Games in Rio.
No. I'm very happy now, I think MMA is the most effective sport in the world, and we have to be 100% focused on this sport, Of course, I love boxing. I love to watch boxing one day. I wanna get a boxing fight, but no, I'm not thinking about that.
Yeah, right now the UFC is keeping you pretty busy. All right, that is going to do it from here.